Hi there. Now I am going to do lesson 102. I share God's will for happiness for me. Finally, I am deliberately sharing what God already wills for me. This is a powerful lesson, as they all are, but this is really truly an affirmation that we are willing to share in that happiness for us that God has already willed. Paragraph 1. You do not want to suffer. You may think it buys you something and may still believe a little that it buys you what you want. Again, we thought that suffering bought us a reward. It got us seen as deserving of going to heaven. It got us seen as a martyr. That all of that suffering made us stronger, made us more powerful, made us more special. So we're recognizing that it doesn't really buy us anything. Yet this belief is surely shaken now, at least enough to let you question it and to suspect it really makes no sense. There is no sense in suffering. It has not gone as yet, the belief, but lacks the roots that once secured it tightly to the dark and hidden secret places of your mind. Today, we try to loose its weakened hold still further and to realize that pain is purposeless, without a cause and with no power to accomplish anything. Oh my gosh, all that suffering that we thought would bring us something, all it did was bring drama, bring discomfort, drain us of energy, but it never brought anything worthwhile, ever. It cannot purchase anything at all. It offers nothing. Pain, suffering, offers nothing. It offers nothing and does not exist. And everything you think it offers you is lacking in existence like itself. You have been slave to nothing. Be you free today to join the happy will of God. Oh my goodness, I carried such pain about being abandoned by my father for 40 plus years. Got me nothing. Fearing that my former husband Ken was going to take his money and going to take his love and leave me with nothing. All that suffering for nothing. All the fear of, with my baby daddy, what would people think if I got divorced? What kind of a person have I been? I've been unsuccessful in marriage, 23 years together. All that suffering, all that, what would people think? For nothing, for nothing. Amazing. Paragraph 3. For several days, we will continue to devote our periods of practicing to exercises planned to help you reach the happiness God wills has placed in you. God's will has placed the happiness in us that now it's time for us to reach. Here is your home, and here your safety is. Here is your peace, and here there is no fear. In this space that God has willed for us where our happiness resides. There's no fear. This is our home. This is where our safety lies. Our safety lies in our happiness. Here is salvation. Here is rest at last. Why is there rest when we find happiness inside of us? Because the madness of the search for the new toy, the new addition, the new bigger job or bigger house, promotion, new relationship, all that chase looking for happiness outside of us drains us. Now we get to rest at last because we realize it's in here. Paragraph 4. Begin your practice periods today with this acceptance of God's will for you. I share God's will for happiness for me, and I accept it as my function now. I share God's will for happiness for me, and I accept it as my function now. This is a very deliberate acceptance. We've been building up our mind to prepare to receive the truth. Now we're going to share in the truth of what God wills for us. Then seek this function deep within your mind, for it is there, awaiting but your choice. When you let yourself know, God put happiness inside of me, let me find it. Dive deep down and swim past all those thoughts, all those worries, and just say, this is not who I am. God wills for me perfect happiness. and dive down below the noise of the head, and you will rest in a place where you're going to feel that you have transcended the ego mind, and you will fall into the grace of this benevolent creator who has placed a piece of itself in you. And when you find that piece of God in you, you will find the peace that passes all understanding. It's a promise. Sentence number 4 in paragraph 4. You cannot fail to find it when you learn it is your choice and that you share God's will. You gotta believe you want it. You gotta believe you share God's will. You gotta believe that it's there, and then it will be yours. Paragraph 5. Be happy, for your only function here is happiness. You have no need to be less loving to God's Son than He whose love created Him as loving as Himself. You have no need to be less loving than God's Son. We're just as loving as everybody else. The only difference is either we remember that love is inside of us or we don't. We remember happiness is our function or we don't. We access the peace, the eternal peace that is within us, or we're not. That's the only difference. Otherwise, we've all been made the same. We access it because it's the truth inside of us, or we don't because we're unaware of it. Sentence number 3 in paragraph 5. Besides these hourly 5-minute rests, pause frequently today to tell yourself that you have now accepted happiness as your one function. I have decided happiness is all that I want. And boy, when I begin to have a thought that is of the ego that begins to pull me out of my center, it's very fast. I only want happiness. And I may not say it in front of other people who are really determined that pain and suffering is real, because I am going to honor them. But my happiness shows. So if they're curious about it, they'll ask me. But it's just not my job to go tell them about it anymore. It's my job to honor it for me. I save myself, and then I can become a beacon of light. Those who are ready will ask. Those who are not, they don't. But I honor them by not poking at them and tell them, hey, why are you miserable when you could be happy? Sentence number 4, and be sure that you are joining with God's will in doing this. Be certain about that. I share God's will for happiness for me. It is so. I am aligning with God. I'm removing that cork. I'm getting myself straight. No more blocks to flowing with the happiness that God has given me from the beginning. I'm claiming it today. I hope you do that for you because I'm doing it for me. Thanks a bunch, and I'll see you in the next lesson.